Hey, what's going on guys? My name is Logan with West Desert Wheeler. Today's video is going to be me recapping a couple of my RC competition runs that I ran with my four-wheel steer Axial Capra, total custom build. It is not the rear steer car to start, it was actually an Axial kit, and I've replaced just about everything on that thing. But super fun car. The competition that I'm running it at is the Southern Utah RC Crawling Championship. This is round 1 of 3. I am actually hosting these 3 competitions and putting them on, and I am running in the unlimited class against a bunch of other unlimited cars, which means anything goes as long as it fits between that 13-inch wide gate minimum. So we're talking MOAs, rear steer Capras, regular Capras. Some people even entered their class 2 trucks in as unlimited cars just for fun and to run through the courses. So should be a great time. Admittedly, I am filming while driving, which never helps, but I did not have my greatest runs out here for this video. Regardless, had some good times. Just wanted to share with you guys some of the event, share some of the pictures of everybody out there. Thanks to the slut crawlers for coming down from northern Utah and helping judge and run my competition alongside me. It was a huge help. I greatly appreciate it. So if you are in northern Utah, there is the Northern Utah RC Crawler Championship going on as well. They are running a 3-part series. There will be a championship in the north, a championship in the south, and then they're going to come together and we're going to do a state championship in Cedar City in the end of May. So if you want to check out the dates, I will leave a link to our Facebook group down below where you can check that out. And yeah, if you're in Utah, come out and go RC crawling with us. It should be a great time. So let's get to it. Check out how my Capra rear steer car did, and we'll see just how poorly I performed at my own courses that I designed and that I've run a few times. However, I have not run them this day. I got everything set up for everybody, which I had a fantastic turnout. It was super awesome. I think we had over 80 registered drivers. So thanks to everyone who came out and supported the event. I greatly appreciate it. I'm gonna be a little more prepared for next time. This round 1, I ended up running out of scorecards because there was way more people than I anticipated showing up, but we fought through and got things done. I was able to give away some raffles from our sponsors, which would be Rock Pirates RC, Reefs RC, Joe Ropes, and Sky RC. So thanks to those companies very much for supporting our event. We greatly appreciate it. Also, you can see behind me, we've got these awesome looking trophies. They were actually made by Fabin 801. So be sure to check out Fabin 801 for your full-size crawler needs as well. Let's get to it, guys. Let's see how these runs go. All right, here we go, dropping down into gate 1 from our start box. I did not get quite squared up to the ledge, and as the front end comes down, I tag a cone and roll onto my roof. After fighting with it for a couple minutes, I was completely turtled, and I ended up having to flip my truck back over. So cut over to gate number 2 is where we're heading up. A couple ledges here. Now I've run these courses before, and I know that this Capra does not like this set of ledges. I get up in here and try and get through all sideways and crabby and weird, but ultimately I know that it's not going to do it. So instead of sitting there and potentially having to do another rollover or pick up more reverses or something else, I go ahead and just climb up the hill and take the gate and move on. Here we are dropping off a ledge a little bit earlier than some of the other drivers might have tried. And then we're going to go through a very off-camber, ledgy, weird gate number 3 that is like a 90-degree turn into a set of ledges. So it's not an easy gate. You can see me getting very close to that one right there, but just able to squeak past, work the rears around, get up the ledge, and continue on. It's actually my brother who is actually down here helping me judge on this run, so he was scoring for me. Thanks for doing that, Austin. I greatly appreciate it. And here we go through gate 4, another off-camber one. This one drops you down to where you have to make a turn at the bottom where you don't have much room. You can either go all the way down to the bottom or try and side shift across the hill like that. Rear steer makes so many wild lines possible. Gate number 5 is pretty simple. It's just a steep wall, and then you got to kind of crab through. Unfortunately, as I got enough momentum to get up that ledge, I had bumped into it with my front passenger tire, so I went ahead and just cruised on through. So I had already killed the gate. Once I hit 1 cone, both gates are dead. That's how my rules run. Both cones are dead, I should say. But gates are always live, so if I go through 6 and then I loop back around and hit gate number 6, that's actually still a cone. Here we are dropping into 7, and then we're going to end up doing a 180 and going back through gate number 8. Unfortunately, the timing didn't work out right here. We actually have another competitor that I've caught up to. There's his car upside down. and I'm gonna go ahead and pull off to the side and let him go. Now I'm going for my bonus gate. I have one standalone bonus gate on each course. Got the rear steer Capra fighting to get up into this little crack. And I am also using dig on this car as well. In my rules, I allow dig and rear steer and unlimited. You can run those at the same time. Just trying to get those rears to bite and pull the car up. But a couple times that front right tire starts to pick up and I have to put it in dig to settle it back down, then go back into four-wheel drive, push back into it with all four tires. Now I'm able to get up in there and balance. There's nothing in the middle of the car, and then I set the gates in a strategic position because as soon as you run into the ledge in front of the driver front tire, it's going to try and shift the rear axle depending on how you pressure into it. So I throw it in dig, and as I straighten up my tires, pops it up and over, back into four-wheel drive. And right here, it starts to kind of slip off the wall, but I see an opportunity to turn out the top and rotate, but I did it a little bit too late, and I run my front axle into the rock up top, and I get my truck in a really bad bind here. Put it back in four-wheel drive, I'm crabbed steering right here, and then in dig, it's not getting any better. As I put it in four-wheel steering, man, it is jamming those Vanquish axles to their full potential of steering. I have to take a reverse there, and once I'm in reverse, I go ahead and just continue backing out of there, swing around, and line up for gate number 8. Gate number 8, a lot of people just drove up on the right side of the rock and then scratched their cage on the way through. That's totally fine, totally acceptable. That's awesome for what anybody else wants to run it. I prefer to run my tires up onto that crack. As you can see there, RD from Axial out at the event. He actually snagged a picture as I came through that gate, so thanks for doing that, Randall. Thanks for coming out to support the event. Now we're cruising down, little rock ledge. Gate number 9 is super simple, but in my practices, I hit that thing like 2 or 3 times, and just a super flat, simple gate. You just gotta avoid hitting the cones, so I left that one in the competition. Gate number 10 is just this little, it's a little nub under like a rock overhang, and man, is it difficult to get over. I left this one in there because it was one of the most fun gates out of this whole course. So it's really just designed to be a belly hanger. And right here, I did not give myself enough room on the rear steering, so I have to end up taking a reverse here. Tried to wiggle the rear out of there, but it was gonna hit the cone if I continued wiggling it. Took a small reverse, and now I'm just gonna pull back forward, get those rears worked around, trying to keep the car off its belly. Luckily, those portals are giving me maximum clearance, and out of gate number 10. So that was a pretty fun run on course number 1. Not my greatest run, however, on course number 2, things are gonna get worse. So let's dive into it and check it out. But first, let's take a look at Jeff, who's gonna run through gate number 4 in his Rock Pirates RC equipped SCX-10-2. Here he is. You can see it's a little bit dusty. He's got a nice shiny black truck under all that dirt. But so I drew this chalk line on gate number 4, and that is a boundary. So that's the equivalent of hitting a cone. If you were to go in there and drive anywhere over that chalk line, you are going to get marked down as a cone. On top of that, it is very, very side hill through here. So you don't want to tip your truck over and roll across that boundary. And then you have to squeeze through a gate at the end of that corner. So quite a lot going on in this one. Jeff able to pull off a nice smooth corner through there, keeping everything under control, but great driving, great execution of gate number 4. All right, here we are going into course number 2, gate number 1. Actually, as I went back and looked at the video footage of where these cones are compared to where I was originally supposed to set them, the number 1 cone in the bottom of the crack there was not supposed to be there. It was supposed to be about 6 inches further up that crack. But it gave a real fit to everybody. I think 1 or 2 drivers that I know of made it through there clean. And that means that like 80 people hit that gate. And as you can see, including myself, I was then able to sneak through. So once I killed the cone, just cruise on up, work my way over to gate number 2. Gate number 2 is a super fun series of rock formations. It's got like a little round nub on the passenger side that you have to get up and over that drops you into a crack with another big climb. Luckily with rear steer, you can kind of snake your way through there. With a straight axle rear truck, it's pretty difficult to get your truck to rotate through there. Here's a bonus. This little hole in the rock here is a lot more difficult to manage than you would anticipate, which is why I threw it in as a bonus. I have done it with this Capra before, but everybody before me who had ended up kicking up dust and spitting it out onto that ledge, I think that's what got me there, is I ran out of traction and the car slid down, ended up tagging that bonus cone as I backed out of there and rolled. After a reposition, got myself lined back up with gate number 3. It's a off camber climb, and there's a hook up by the top front passenger tire, and just not quite able to get my car situated right to get that hook. So I throw it in front dig to try and settle the front down, and it just pulls me right into that cone, and with a front burn I clip that cone. Here's gate number 4, which we already saw a demonstration of how to get through, and I'm about to show you how not to do it. So as we come around the corner, got the rear steer pointed downhill, the front end settles. For some reason I decided to throw it in front dig right here just to really help settle that front end down. And as the car pulls into it, I put it back in 4-wheel, and as I click it back into 4-wheel drive, the car rolls off the cliff. So I ended up getting a boundary and a cone on that because I rolled across the gate and hit the cone plus cross the boundary, which is the equivalent of a gate. So that was not a good corner for me on this course. Now moving on to gate number 5. In the competition, the other competitors had really been struggling on gate number 5. There's 3 ways to get through number 5 though. You could either come from the high side and go near the arrow cone and sneak your front end just through, and with a straight axle rig, that's the way to do it. The middle line, which would be the most difficult, would be to drive right up the middle of this V-crack and struggle for traction and get balanced in there and try and pull your whole rig through it. The other line is probably a rear steer only line where you actually go around the number 5 cone, swing all the way around in almost a 360-degree circle, and you can jump through there as well. Now, I didn't really have that in mind when I set this gate. Originally, I just figured people would drive straight up the middle, but competitors will show you all the different ways to get through the gates. Let's take a look at how I get through number 5. So I decided to go around the number 5 with the rear steer line, just because with that number 4 cone and the boundary line and the other gates I had already hit, I just wanted to make this as easy as possible on myself. Now, I have driven up that canyon multiple times. I did it with a couple cars that I went out and set cones with. So I did it with my Axial Capra here, did it with my MOA, and then I also did it with my Rock Pirates SCX 10.2 build, just to prove that all these gates were possible. Now, when I go and set gates, I drive through them with multiple vehicles to make sure that they are in fact possible to clean. I don't expect to do a full clean run on the gates though. So sometimes it takes me multiple tries, but as long as I can get through it clean, I will add them into my competition. Now we're gonna drop through gate number 6, which is just a cross over the crack little gate here. And you can see that rear tire started driving under the car. And so I'm trying to use my rear steer to settle it back down, but there's other pressures at play here. So I decided to turn my front steering servo, and it eliminated that pressure holding the car up. So I gave it a little bit of throttle to bring it up, and that settled the rear right back down, and I was able to zigzag through there. That one took a little bit of work for me to figure out what was going on and why that car was up in the air, but pretty cool that just seeing that front servo was actually able to settle the car back down in addition to wiggling the rear as well. So right here on the way over to gate number 7, just have to squeak through on that little ledge that I had there for you. There were other ways around. These are open courses. I'm not limiting you to anywhere you can go, but that's the path that I chose to take, and quite a few others did as well. Now, gate number 7 is a real aggressive drop. This is a big, ugly side hill drop. You can see those Vanquish axles hanging onto those rocks, which I've thought would cause issues as far as like hanging on to sandstone and being really grippy. In my experience, it really hasn't been that much more noticeable than how plastic reacts on rocks. So the aluminum that they're using is not too soft and allows the trucks to actually slide along the rocks. I'd say it's a little more grippy than plastic is. But getting that rear end, I'm just trying to decide where I want to drop it off. I'm running out of room on that front tire, and I was just able to get through clean, but I hold my things together before I just drive down to the bottom, put it in front dig, burn the front end up and around, and work my way over to gate 8. It's a side hill. It was real easy, not a big deal. Get the rears up, drive through gate number 8, and then we're on our way over to gate number 9. On the way up to gate number 9, I go to the far end of this ledge just because it's more mellow to climb, and then I bring it back close to where my camera is because this side is more mellow to climb on the next ledge. So trying to make the course as easy as possible between gates is key. That will really help you out in a competition. No need to make extra obstacles for yourself that are unnecessary outside the cones. So right here we got 3 tires up on the ledge. Now I just need to get that last one up. And as I start to rotate around, it actually kicks both the rears back off. So as I rotate the car more passenger, I get the 3rd tire back up again, and it pulls the 4th one right up. So that's pretty cool how that worked out. Doesn't always work like that, but for this time, I made it work. Here we go, dropping off the front end. This is a pretty big drop under that front driver tire. It's about 6 to 8 inches. It's also off camber, so getting that front passenger close to the cone and just trying to feather the throttle as much as possible, get the rears kicked over, crab across there, and end up rolling my truck. But it's past the gate number 10, so it's not a problem, and I was able to clean number 10. So like I said, not the greatest performance on my end, which is kind of funny on my own courses. Yeah, I know. But if they're not challenging to me, then they're not entertaining. So I make my courses challenging for me. I had a lot of feedback saying that these courses were pretty tough. But you know what? If you're not out there hitting gates, then why are we out there dodging cones? I hope you guys enjoyed this content. Thank you all for checking it out. Be sure to check out the sponsors. I will link them down below. Again, Rock Pirates RC, Reefs RC, Joe Ropes, and Sky RC. Thank you guys very much. Be sure to follow along on the slut crawlers. Thanks to those guys for coming down. I greatly appreciate it. My name is Logan with West Desert Wheeler. We'll see you guys on the next one. Keep the rubber side down.